Hello, I'm Mark,
I'm Casey.
And I'm Patrick.
and today we're talking superchargers again, and
Mr.
the
Supercharger.
size of superchargers. But first, Casey's going to roll that title card.
Here we go.
You're watching the Tesla Life Express.
Hey everyone, thanks for joining us today. Wanted to talk a little bit about this article, which we'll link below if you'd like to read upon it. But this is about the Tesla Supercharger network and its growth compared to other charging networks out there. And it will probably not surprise too many that watch this show that Tesla added more superchargers in Q3 than the next 9 charging networks combined.
Finish him.
Exactly.
That's just embarrassing. When some of the other ones, that's their whole business is charging. And I could see if they were, number one with a close second and third, but more than the next 9, that's just embarrassing.
Is that 9 in the U.S. or 9 in the world? Because even that would be even worse.
Well, let's share
see.
the list here in the article. So here's the list. ChargePoint is second, a distant second, with 300 in Q3 of this year. Red E is a local Michigan group, 215. Pretty respectable for someone that's just around Michigan.
Right, that makes sense. If you're regional, and how sad that someone who's regional is ahead of all these others that are national or global.
Yep. Electrify America, 164.
So that alone is that's less than a tenth of what Tesla did, and they're supposed to be Electrify America. I mean, come on.
And they could even use some of the Electrify Canada numbers if they wanted to juice it.
That ain't going to help them either.
No.
Really. It is
They'll
not
move
going to
from
help.
fourth to almost third, but still fourth.
It goes from 164 to 169. So really, not going to help too much. I don't know what the actual number is. EV Connect 146. Here's a familiar name, EV Go at 132. The Iona.
That's
which is fairly new, 132.
But that one's even more disappointing because it's a conglomeration of manufacturers.
Yep, number of manufacturers combined to create it.
Yeah, they were all saying about how easy it was that Tesla's doing what it's doing, and we can do it when we choose to. Well, you guys have clearly chosen to, and you've lost to a regional player. Come on now.
Blink has been around forever, and they're still somewhat in the game with 125.
Some respect to Blink. They've been around from the beginning, and they've had a rough go of it. Was it 1 or 2 bankruptcies, several sales? So good on them for not giving up.
Their DC fast chargers in the beginning, 2010, 11, were horrible. They were out all the time. The screens were broken. They would have just 2 stalls, and one was blocked, one was broken. It was horrible. So I hope they've gotten better. They couldn't have gotten worse and still be around.
That would be a feat to be worse. Yeah. I remember the common thing was Blink was on the blink. That was just the common saying back in the L2 days of the Chevy Volt and the Nissan Leaf.
The first Blink charger I had the opportunity to use was in the Volt, and it was in the bottom of a parking garage that had been partially flooded, and it was still running. But I had to ford the bottom part of the parking garage, and then I had to find one of the chargers that had a high enough spot that I could stand on something and plug it in. We'll keep my feet dry. That was a fun one.
That is brave. I don't know. I know that they're fine in the rain, but I don't know if I'm in a flooded parking garage, I'm going to plug in. I think I'm just going to find another spot.
Another network, of course.
I'm glad you're still around, Casey.
Is the Pilot Flying J. So I'm kind of surprised at this. I thought they were, it may be that they've combined with GM and that's the Pilot Flying J, because there are a number of canopies out there at Pilot Flying J's, and I think it's a combo with GM to create those that charging network.
I think it's with EVgo as well. I think EVgo is part of that group.
And then, of course, they also want to put in their own truck chargers, because that's their core business there. So
yeah, but this is definitely not truck charging.
Well, this if they put in the megawatt chargers, but I don't think they would have enough of them to make this one.
No. Yeah. And Rivian, a disappointing 87, unfortunately. But we know some of the issues with Rivian, of course, is they're financially constrained. They're still burning money. They're not profitable as of yet, and actually they're in the hole pretty deep at this point. So I can understand why they're not putting chargers in place with any large volume.
Yeah. But also their goal of their charging system is really just to fill in the gaps. So combine that with their financial situation, and it's admirable that they have done and that they are still doing it. So kudos on them for that. But hopefully we get to see them expand this, like see it outside national parks, trailheads, and other areas where you might need supercharging, but not find a Tesla branded supercharger. They did recently open up the network, so that's also good to see.
Yeah.
So I wonder for this right now, outside of Tesla, the industry is going through this transition from CCS to NACS. And so if you're installing charge points, what plug do you have on there?
Yeah, what's the plug you're going with today?
Right. The NACs are coming, but they're not there yet, and you want some utilization to make it worthwhile so you can get revenue from it. But you also don't want to install something that's going to be obsolete in a year. But you could argue that there are plenty of CCS vehicles on the road today, and they're not going to disappear overnight. Yeah. So what do you install?
I would imagine it's CCS, but I'm hoping that they have the foresight to think about a cable replacement program in the future when NACS becomes prevalent. And you could, without too much difficulty, swap the cable out for a NACS, at some point in the future. So not sure if their equipment has that capability, but man, if I was running any of those companies and their tech end, I would definitely be looking at doing something similar to that.
Yeah, exactly, because it's not a surprise. You knew this was coming. You better think ahead. You better have some forward compatibility.
Yeah, most of them have equipment that can do a cable swap to NACS. Hopefully, what we would see for anything that's not yet in the ground, we start to see what we saw with Chattanooga versus CCS1, where they're there, but they're mostly NACS. But there's a token CCS1 or 2, not CCS2, but 1 to 2 to 4, depending on the size of the site, CCS1s. Because for 2026 model years, where all of them are starting to put the native ports on their cars, so when you look at $200 to $500 per handle, let alone the cable, that's a lot of equipment to just put out there that you know you have to replace.
But looking at this is the one of the main reasons I recommend Tesla when someone says, "Hey, you're into EVs. I'm finally thinking about getting an EV. Which one should I get?" And the answer is Tesla. If you want to be able to just drive and not worry about where you're going to charge, then the answer is Tesla. Yeah. Even if you buy a NACS from a non-Tesla NACS car, not all of the Tesla network is open to those vehicles. It's only some subset. And if you want to be able to just hop in your car, hit a destination, and have it plan a route, and if you need to charge, it will tell you where, and it will tell you when you're ready to go again, then the answer is Tesla.
Yeah, we had a discussion.
Nothing else is as convenient.
That's right. We had a discussion on this on Sunday. There was a car reviewer at one of the sites. He had requested a Kia with NACS, and the company that brings the cars for these companies to do the reviews, they didn't have supercharging set up for their corporate card for their drivers yet, and they didn't have the plug-in charge set up, and the driver didn't typically drive any EVs because, for the press fleets, it's almost all gas cars, and so he started freaking out at 20%, even though the reporter wanted it in at like 10%, so he could, just do a charge instead of having to do a couple hundred miles on top of what he was going to do to get the charging stats. So then when it was his turn, he had to go find superchargers that were enabled for everything, and at that point I started skimming because it was a long article, but I didn't get why he had difficulty finding them. I understood why the driver had trouble with it. So I would, I'd say get a used Tesla, get a new Tesla, depending on what your budget is, and you're not going to have to worry about it, because I've been running 90% for most of my car's life, and then I switched it to 80%. But then after the video that we watched with Mark, I went ahead and switched my charge down to 75%.
70, yeah.
Yeah, he said 70, but I was like, my car, it's not a lot of range to work with. So I had to set down to 75, and I don't. There was only one trip where I moved it up before, so it's not just literally. You don't have to think about charging. You just put in your destination and you just go. And it was always easy, but it was never this easy before. And I don't have one of the long range cars out there. It's a P100D. Model X, so it's heavy. It was already limited in range. It was 264 at 90% new, and now it's 246 at 100%. And it was never at the 289 they promised. It was 286 showing on the dash when we picked it up. So, but it's not a problem. It's annoying when you're towing, but that's a whole nother situation.
Right.
Normal people just get in, put in your destination, and it's ready.
I have to say that even some of these networks that are disappointing with their numbers, it is overall good to see that they're still participating.
Yes.
They're still growing somewhat. The numbers aren't all that impressive. But of course, any fast charger we add to the network is going to benefit some EV drivers. So I'm glad to see that it hasn't stopped altogether. There are still groups that are in the game, and they're still moving forward, albeit somewhat slow, but they are still adding to the overall network.
Yeah, the competition is good for several reasons. One, you might just be able to find a place that Tesla can't go, like the New Jersey Turnpike, and it used to be, or in other cases, you'll find that they may have a better deal with their power companies. They have a better price than you can get from Tesla, and that's always nice. And then just the fact that they exist means that Tesla does have to compete, and so that also helps kind of keep them honest. And for instance, we just saw that our friend Kyle Connor, he was reviewing Walmart now has their own charge network that they've started up. Costco's had them for a little while. It's not as well dispersed as this, but it's there, and it's a good start. And same with IKEA. They're smaller, but they tend to have charging at all of their locations, which not every single one, but all the ones I've been to, I've been able to find something, whether I wanted to pay for it or not. So
yeah. And with that said, we'd like to ask the audiences, with your travels, what are you using? Like, do you go outside the Tesla network? If you do, what do you have success with? What do you don't have success with? It'd be interesting to hear your opinion as you're traveling the highways and byways of the country.
Yeah, and the vigorous head shaking is for numerous reasons. Not because I don't think that they're viable, but because I'm spoiled and and cheap, and so there's a very good reason why I don't go outside the network. So
I have to say, in my own particular case, I'm just not traveling to areas that are outside the Tesla network. Like I've never had the need to look for something else, because where I'm situated and the drives that I'm taking, it's extremely well covered, and it just continues to get a little better every quarter.
Mm-hmm.
So, what about you, Patrick? Do you get outside the network? Has that happened in, say, the last 2 years?
Well, I don't. Other than I supercharged in Bend, Oregon, and I went and supercharged at the V4 when it opened in, I think it was Wilsonville, just because you guys said, "Hey, you got a V4, go check it out." Yeah. So I think that's the last 2 times in the last 2 years that I've supercharged. That's how much I supercharge. So ours is solar fed at home all the time.
Yeah, Patrick's strictly L2, and it works fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, megawatts have run through my batteries. megawatt hours have run through my battery.
21 gigawatts.
Yeah, one of those Tesla trailers with the 6 extra units follows Casey around. So
may as well.
Put a mega pack.
With that said, please give us a thumbs up on the video, press that subscribe button, and any shout-outs from you, Casey?
Yeah, like Mark just said, catch us on our express shows. We got another one coming up on Monday. Catch us on Sunday over at Let's Chat with Casey and Friends. Who knows what we might run into? Like we had discussed what I do about my charging and why I am spoiled this past Sunday. So that was fun, and then we'll catch you back here live on Wednesday.
Very good, Patrick.
As always, I'm with the Oregon Electric Vehicle Association. You can find us at oeva.org, and I blog occasionally at carswithcords.net, where I write about my future free from fossil fuels. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone, for joining us, and get together with us next time. And together, we will find out what's happening in the Tesla life.